It seems a motion of no confidence may be tabled at some point against Tshwane Mayor Randall Williams. This is in the midst of a storm around a leaked audit report which made some damning findings against the city. Now, the report, leaked and seen by some media houses, reportedly found irregular expenditure of 10 billion rand, unauthorized expenditure at over 640 million rand, among other serious findings. Let's speak now to the ANC in Tshwane, and we speak to the ANC's Tshwane Regional Secretary George Matjila, who joins us in studio. Thank you so much for coming in. This is really one of those moments that I'm sure, as the city of Tshwane, definitely not proud about what the Auditor General has found.
Well, greetings to you, Bongiwe, and your viewers. No, indeed, I think we've always said this type of things, and as the ANC in Tshwane, we believe we have indicated. Because we've always said there are problems. There's no leadership in the city of Tshwane.
And for you, you say that there's no leadership. Who do you put this on the doorstep of? Is it the mayor or is it council as a whole as well?
No, obviously it's the executive mayor. I mean, in between council, the executive mayor is the one who's in charge. He's the one who must see to it that things are done and are done properly.
But how much responsibility then should council take as well? Because they form part of the leadership structure. As much as in between all of this, the mayor is sitting there making sure that the day-to-day running is as smooth. But also there are other leaders who are in council who residents of Tshwane are looking to. Well,
part of our responsibility as the ANC, as the majority party in council, is to hold him accountable, to hold the executive in council, because in between councils, the executive is in charge. He's the one that is discharging responsibilities now and then. So hence we are saying they failed in executing their mandate. So they need to make way.
Let's talk about this report. I mean, when one looks at it, and of course this is still a leaked copy, has it been tabled, according to your knowledge, before the mayoral committee or even in council? What's happening now? Where is it?
Well, the mayor is with the report, whether the report is officially out or not, but I mean, he's also publicly discussing it, whether taking ownership or denying and so forth. He's known to be a person who always denies. But at the end of the day, the reality will be out for everybody to see.
And when you then look at this particular report, some of the blame, in fact, most of it is put on the doorstep of the former CFO and fired, of course, but it looks like there's still going to be some criminal charges that could potentially be laid there. How much of that blame also moves then to this particular individual, and will you be pressing charges?
Well, we will be taking steps against whoever is responsible. But
what do those steps look like?
At this point in time, the executive mayor must take the fall, because he's the one who's in charge of the municipality. He's the one who runs the day-to-day. He's paid to be there on daily basis. So he must be the first to take responsibility.
Talking about responsibility, I'd like to read for you some of what the multi-party government statement says. It says that, while it is being criticized, it must be noted that the current multi-party government took over the reins at the Metro 5 months after the 2021-2022 financial year commenced, and there are deep historical problems underpinning the report predating even that particular financial year. The multi-party government is nonetheless committed to resolving these historical issues, and they seem to be putting a lot of these historical issues on your doorstep, saying that it is very rich for you to be speaking about governance when you yourselves, they are accusing you of having historical problems.
Well, we can't at all material times speak of historical problems. We are here. We are speaking about issues that are happening currently. They can't shift blame every time. They can't have this type of excuses. They've been elected to lead. They are in leadership. They must take responsibility.
But they're leading a city they inherited from you.
Well, even ourselves, we inherited a city from, apartheid and so forth. But we can't keep on talking about the backlogs that were created by the then city council and so forth. So it's a fact. What has happened, it has happened over a period of 7 years. And that's when they were in charge of the city. They need to take responsibility.
So are you saying that the multi-party government is incorrect when they say that you left a legacy of failures, which is why the Tshwane residents did not even vote you in as a majority government in the city, leading to a coalition arrangement?
Well, it's not true. I mean, when the ANC was in charge of Tshwane, Tshwane was a construction site. We have done a lot for the people of Tshwane. We might have had some challenges there and there. Some of the challenges might be challenges that were not necessarily in Tshwane, but national. Remember, when people are voting, they are not only voting for a party because of what is happening within a certain jurisdiction. There might be issues outside that makes people to have a different view in terms of who they put as government.
And that is the nub of the problem, is it not? Because you look at what is happening in Dijobotla, and the ANC is also being pointed, fingers are pointing at the ANC there. You look at various other municipalities as well, and there are people saying that the ANC doesn't appear to be having a good track record when it comes to running municipalities. Your very own president, even in his own January 8 statement, again this year, admitting to the fact that municipalities are not well run. So how much of this then do you accept as the ANC as a legacy problem? Because if you're looking at these municipalities, and even by your own president's admission, it looks like the problem started a while back.
Well, there are municipalities where we have always had challenges. It's something that we cannot deny, but not in Tshwane. I mean, we speak of somebody who was very instrumental in terms of developing Tshwane to the state that it is. I mean, Dr. Sputla Ramokgopa. He did extremely well. The challenges were something else and so forth. But where I am, and I'm unable to speak for other municipalities, well, I know there are challenges there, but my focus for now will be the city of Tshwane, where I come from and I have mandate to speak. So
tonight as council, Tshwane residents are watching. How much of a responsibility do you take as leaders within that particular city, not only the mayor right now? Because when residents look to governance, they're not looking at a political party, they're looking at the council for making decisions. So how much of a responsibility do you take, and what do you say to residents who are watching tonight, disappointed by what they've seen?
Well, part of the responsibility that we are taking is holding the executive accountable, because that's the task we're supposed to do, and we're doing it for our own people, and they should appreciate that, to say at least the ANC is there, is keeping an eye, and is putting the DA-led coalition in a corner to ensure that they perform their task as elected for.
And will you be tabling a motion of no confidence against the mayor?
Well, we have a number of options. Well, a motion of no confidence is part of that. But in the meantime, because we speak more of, we speak more for our own people, the section 139 subsection 5, which gives powers to the MEC of Kokta in the province to appoint an administrator who will have an immediate task of ensuring that he stabilizes the finances and everything in the city. That's where we are.
And let's talk about this audit report, because we are hoping at some point that even as members of the public and the media will be able to see it being released by the city so that we can comb through it. But take us through it as well, because we're seeing irregular expenditure as well. We're seeing some projects which were said to be service delivery related but cannot be accounted for. We're seeing leave, quantifications there that are not making sense as well, according to the Auditor General. And some of the reporting systems appear to have the wheels come off. How much of it have you seen, and what can you tell us about it?
Well, basically, what the report says is that there's no evidence of money spent. The city is unable to provide the AG with reports of where and how the money was spent and so forth. That is why, as the ANC, we are saying the money has been stolen. Because, I mean, if you have been given a budget, and at the end of the day, you are unable to account for where you have spent the money and so forth, and the money is not there, it simply means the money has been stolen. And they must be able to account to us. They must be able to say to us, well, this is where we have spent the money and so forth. But they fail to do that with the AG. Hence this adverse finding.
When are they accounting?
Well, we are having council on the 26th. We'll make sure every platform that we get as the African National Congress will make sure that we put pressure on them to account, because that's the responsibility. That's an inherent responsibility that the elected leadership has.
All right, we'll be in conversation with the spokesperson of the multi-party government in just a moment, just to get a response from some of what we're seeing and also what you've been saying. But thank you so much for coming in. Do appreciate your time. That was the ANC Tshwane Regional Secretary, George Matjila.